Good day, ma'ams and sirs. Welcome to the very first episode of the Number 9 podcast, which is essentially a cigarette break on steroids with myself and my boy T-Double-Double, T-Wash, Twashi, Chunk Dizzle, Tommy Washington. We're going to pick a semi-relevant topic for each individual episode, and we're going to try our best to stay on track. The problem is, the two guys making this show have been besticles for about 13 years, so we tend to get off topic. We truly hope you enjoy the show, and if you do, please let somebody know. If you don't, we hope bad shit happens to you.
Pat, you almost ready? We gotta record.
Almost. Fucking 5 minutes.
Put the fucking Tinder app down.
Tommy, I'm looking for my next ex-wife.
Pat, shut the fucking phone off.
Alright, there's no need to yell, dude. I'm getting off. Like I'm trying to get off. Get it? Like I'm trying to get off.
So, how was the name of that new Washington team, huh? So, we weren't recording in the previous clip, but we're going to try and restage this.
This is so fun. This is a horrible start.
Things happen. What are you going to do?
Yeah, Washington, I
decided
assume...
not to name their football team and just called it Washington.
So I just Googled, and apparently team name, the Washington football team, is a temporary Band-Aid for not having a solid name to adopt, which makes more sense.
I'm not really sure what was wrong with Redskins.
I wonder, couldn't they be the Washington Pigskins?
Couldn't they be the Washington Redskins? I mean, I don't want to see what was wrong with that.
I think that there are some people who are offended by the name.
Who?
Native Americans, specifically. Or people on the behalf of Native Americans.
I think it's more people on the behalf than it is actually Native Americans, but hey, that's just me.
In lighter news, Connecticut's the only green state in the Corona map, the Rona map.
Yeah, the ones that were the only ones containing the virus.
Yeah, which makes no sense to me. Like, what? Listen, we've never missed a day of work. Well,
We're actually
I've never missed a day of work. You call that all the fucking time.
That's not true. We're the only state on track to
Yeah, but like on the map, we're green.
Yeah, the only state out of 50.
Yeah. So, I guess, like, what are we doing? Because I really feel like we're not making that much effort. Like, we wear fucking masks and we stay 6 feet apart. Which of those two things are 49 other states incapable of? Like, how do you fuck this up so bad that your state's red?
You know what it is, Pat? Nobody comes here from other states.
That's valid. So, nobody wants to be a part of this. So, like, we're the kid that never gets up and chases anybody and Duck Duck Goose because there's always just a duck. Nobody gives a fuck about Connecticut.
Pretty much.
Just sitting Indian style in that fucking circle, going green.
Yeah.
At least we pay lots in
taxes. Hey, yeah, we pay tons of taxes. That's fucking fantastic.
Whoa, not what I was shopping for. Ooh.
Nice. Yeah, that's what I plan to do. That part there. At least you can call us that time.
Ooh. So
for those of you not watching at home, Pat's going through what he calls shopping. Scrolling through Tinder right now. Real nice.
It's like a fish market. I'm just trying to find the fillet of the week.
What else you got on that list?
Strange laws in the United States, or strange laws in Connecticut.
Let's do strange laws in Connecticut.
Strange laws in Connecticut for 500, Alex. What the fuck? It is illegal to educate your dog in Hartford. I don't know if that's like doggy daycare, like sit, stay, run, chase.
So you're not allowed to train your dog in Hartford. That would explain why there's so many fucking people getting bit by dogs in Hartford.
Are you not allowed to, like, teach your dog to read in Hartford? Because that law makes even less sense. What the? You are not allowed to cross the street on your hands in Connecticut, which is,
That makes sense.
No, that's an important one, because glass and cars and stupid people in general. As a beautician, in Waterbury specifically, which is about 15 minutes from where we're at, no humming for beauticians in Waterbury.
The fuck's a beautician?
They are not legally allowed to hum. A beautician?
Yeah, what the fuck's a beautician?
I'm going to say a beautician is anything from hair and makeup to nails. I think all those people qualify as beauticians. I'm not sure.
You're not allowed to hum.
I'm going to hit the Google machine and find out if that's accurate.
You're not allowed to hum?
Yeah, not allowed to hum if you're a beautician in Connecticut.
I'm going to get my haircut next week in fucking Waterbury.
Beautician definition. Okay.
What about barber?
A beautician is a person whose job is to do hairstyling, manicures, and other beauty treatments. Fuck it, nailed it.
For some reason, I thought that was really the Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the what?
I don't know why.
You can be stopped by the police for biking over 65 miles an hour. To be clear, that is a bicycle. That is not a motorcycle. But if you can ride your bicycle 65 miles an hour, we should take one of your testicles with cancer and give you a bunch of gold medals that we will later take back from you because you're a fucking god.
What if you're going downhill? Like if you're going down Route 4.
Maybe that's why the law was made. Maybe somebody was going too fast downhill and couldn't stop.
If you're going down like East Main Street, you're going down the hill, not up the hill. 65 miles an hour, I bet you could hit. That's a big fucking hill.
I think at 65 miles an hour, if you hit a pothole, you're dead. In order for a pickle to be officially considered a pickle, it has to bounce.
That's a law?
That's a law. Well, I mean, it says it's a law.
Yeah, it's a law of pickles, not a law.
It seems more like a guideline than anything else. It's illegal to
dish. If not, it's a cucumber?
No, well, yeah, really, really vinegary cucumber. If not, you just freeze it and use it as a marital aid. It is illegal to discharge a firearm from a public highway. One, is that opposing to a private highway? And two, is it legal to discharge a firearm into a public highway? Any person who hunts or discharges any firearm from any public highway shall be fined not more than $100. That doesn't seem so bad. I mean, if you really want to shoot somebody, $100 should not be stopping. In fact, if you're willing to not shoot somebody over $100, don't shoot that person. If $100 is the make or break for you attempting murder, don't attempt the murder.
Pretty much.
Oh, there it is again. In Hartford, you aren't allowed to cross the street walking on your hands.
So is that only in Hartford, or is that...
Oh, no shit. In Southington, where we work, silly string is banned. Because in the mid-1990s, a bunch of children ran up on a police officer and sprayed him with a bunch of silly string at the apple harvest, and silly string was banned.
They banned it because of that?
Soft-ass cop.
Pat, we're a pro-cop podcast.
We are not. I think we split that one 50-50. Like your wife.
Easy.
Oh, here we go. In Waterbury, no beautician can hum, whistle, or sing while working on a customer actively.
How many times did you read the same law?
I'm on a different page.
But it's the same fucking law you just read.
In Guilford, the only Christmas lights that you're allowed to display are white lights, which A, super racist against elves, and B, that probably looks really nice because they're all uniform.
Well, Guilford's, Have you ever played Halo?
No, mostly because it looks like the shittiest game ever made.
People raves about it, and I watch fucking Nick Marks play. It looks like it's rich.
Halo is like, oof, I don't know. It's like a shitty version of Call of Duty from the looks of it.
Yeah, at least
back when Halo was big, though, there was a game called Counter-Strike, which was on your computer, and I had a buddy who played the hell out of Counter-Strike every day. He would actually, so we had wrestling practice, I think it was 3 o'clock, and school got out at 2:05, and this kid would leave school, drive home, play a couple rounds of Counter-Strike, and drive back for wrestling practice. He was that addicted to playing Counter-Strike. And his 11-year-old sister destroyed him every time. She was nasty.
Pat, you want to know what really grinds my gears?
What's that, Tommy?
The debate about gun control in this country.
I don't disagree. I was thinking about that on my way home from work today.
Yeah, so everybody says that you shouldn't own a gun. If you own a gun, you're going to kill people, blah, 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 blah. So I think we should dig a little bit deeper into what the leading causes of death are in America and see if gun control is the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see where it ranks as far as the leading causes of death, and I want to know why we put so much focus on it, because something tells me it's not even in the top, which that really bothers me, because there are bigger fish to fry. And that's not taking a stance either way for or against gun control. All I'm saying is there are things that are more pressing going on.
So, off the CDC.gov website,
I'm with you.
the number one leading cause of death in the United States of America is heart disease.
All right, so let's chalk heart disease up, and I'm going to miss some valid points, but let's call that the American diet and the American lifestyle and smoking.
Yeah,
So-
I was going to say that, like,
So we have countless products in the stores, from foods, from beverages, from things that we can smoke, our vape machines even. You know, we're not innocent in any of this. We're both fat asses who smoke.
facts.
But all of those things are legally attainable. They're easy to get your hands on. You don't need to go to a class. You don't need to have some special license. Nobody worries if you carry it outside of your shirt or if you tuck it in. None of that matters. And we don't have a skull and crossbones on foods that are poisoned by pesticides. But it's frowned upon to show a weapon in public.
Because you might hurt somebody's feelings.
Or you might scare somebody or whatever, but nobody's afraid of me shoving a fucking triple Whopper down my throat with extra cheese and bacon.
So good.
I agree, it's so good.
But see, the problem is that, like, maybe we should regulate what we're putting in. The FDA needs to step in and say, hey, we need to stop injecting hormones into all these foods. Because even when you come down to it, the fruits you are eating have hormones in them and stuff to make them grow faster, bigger, stronger.
That's true. Tomatoes, which are historically a cancer-fighting food, actually can give you cancer because of the poisons that are pumped all over them now. So I think that I don't think that they should be able to control what we eat. I think that smaller government is better government. I don't think that they should control who carries guns, unless somebody has impeded somebody else's pursuit
Unless
of
you're a
happiness. Yeah, if you have, and not even necessarily a felon, if you are a violent felon, or in any way, shape, or form, something that could be related to relevant to the topic of a gun, then sure, that person probably shouldn't carry a gun because they are going to infringe on somebody else's right to pursue happiness. But if you get busted for selling weed when you're 19 years old, I
That
don't
should
think,
stop you from buying a gun.
yeah, for the rest of your life. That's insanity. The government has way too much control over guns. From that standpoint, I get that one death caused by a firearm is too many. I'm not opposed to that. What Adam Lanza did was an absolute nightmare. But if that's the case, if it's that bad of a problem, if it's a problem at all, if it's that scary, then why is there not a skull and crossbones on Little Debbie snack cakes? Because they're killing way more people. We haven't gotten to guns because we're going to go down the list, but I will tell you that from looking at it, guns are not in the top 8. So we have all this hubbub, this very divisive. Go ahead.
So you say it's not in the top 8. Now, it's incorporated into the top 3, but all the deaths in number 3 aren't all by firearms.
I don't know that unintentional injuries. I mean, if that's got to be a very, very small number of
Well,
firearm accidents.
Yeah, it's a very vague statement.
Yeah.
But, so, no, I'm with you. What's funny on here is number 2 goes right with number 1, and they kill almost just the same amount of people as cancer.
Yeah, so there's like 1.25 million people every year dying between heart disease and cancer alone.
Oh, it's more than that. It's 1 point. Oh,
Good.
you're right. I'm done.
Go ahead and check my math on that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm done.
So here's the thing: the total number of deaths per year in the U.S. is 2.8 million. Now we've represented 1.25 million of that, almost 50%, to heart disease and cancer. But the only thing that is really being regulated, or not regulated, but warned about, is cigarettes. So they put the Surgeon General warning on cigarettes, and they say, hey, these are bad for you. By the way, there used to be cigarette advertisements, like for menthols, that they would cure a sore throat. So we've come a long way with that, but we're probably not as far as we should be. I think an important thing for cigarettes would be to change the legal age. We just did that in Connecticut. We changed it. Is that federal? The 21?
No, I don't think it's a statewide thing. I think it's only certain towns in Connecticut.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
Southington's 21, but I think Torrington's 18.
I think cigarettes should be 21. Along with that, since it's about to come up, I think alcohol should be 25. I think a lot of things. So there was a point in time, let's call it, when our parents were our age, or when their parents were our age, when an 18-year-old kid was smart enough and mature enough and independent enough to make decisions for themselves. But that was before Pussified America. That was before we were soft on everything.
Well, now the average kid probably stays at home until they're almost 25, where our parents were out of the house at 18.
Yeah, they had like 6 babies by the time they were 25.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm not saying anything against like our generation. I reached out to my parents for help. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be dependent for longer. I'm not saying that they're bad kids because they're immature longer. What I'm saying is there needs to be a reaction to that, so that the cause is already there for some kind of effect. So, rental car companies won't rent a car to you unless you're 25 years old because you're, my bad, because you're too much of a risk to them, right?
Silent. Put the phone on silent.
Oh boy! Now, all right, yep, go into silent.
Just have some respect for the podcast, man.
For the record, I have to set like 3 alarms a day to text a different person so that I don't just leave everybody in my life in the dust. Because I just I'll go 6 months without talking to somebody and be like, shit, I didn't text them. So I have a bunch of alarms on my phone that go off nonstop to remind me, like, hey, it's probably a good idea to touch base with that person and make sure that they're good and tell them that you're good. So
you're such a good friend, Pat.
They're nonstop. They're nonstop. I don't know if that makes me a good friend or a horrible friend, because I need to be reminded to be a good friend.
Well, at least you made the effort to...
That's true. I took the 30 seconds to set those alarms.
That's right. So cancer, I think it goes hand in hand with the smoking, obviously, but with...
Goes with the food, too.
Yeah.
I would guess, and I'm not sure of this, but I'm guessing we're going to find out that it goes with, everything from medication to electronics. I assume that everything that we're doing gives us cancer.
Well, I'm sure in some way, shape, or form. It almost has to, right?
Yeah.
Nothing you do is good for you. But we also have a way longer life expectancy, and that's because of changes in our medical fields and stuff. Like, we've advanced so much as a species.
So that's partly true, but actually that's not entirely true. The biggest change in life expectancy is it's called infant mortality. So when babies die, the infant mortality rate, in the 1800s or the early 1900s was so high because we weren't good at keeping babies alive when they were born sick or born, with a cord wrapped around their throat. So that effect dramatically affects the life expectancy, because if 10 times the number of babies are dying, then it looks like we don't live very long. But even guys in Christopher Columbus's day were living to 80, 90 years old. It's not unheard of. It's just that we're so much better at getting people past that early stage, that those first couple of years even, we're better at providing care.
So number 3 on the list is accidents. That's a broad brush. That's a...
Yeah.
That's I fell down the stairs and cracked my head open. So we went from 647,000 to almost to 599,000, and then it drops down to accidents, which is 169, almost 170,000 deaths per year. Now, I think this is important to rule into. This is from 2017, the statistics.
But it just happens to be the most current data.
So.
Oh, speaking of, I fucking hate it when people call it data.
Data?
Yeah. That's like, what are you, a fucking robot? It's data, for the record.
It could be data.
No, I'm just,
I'm gonna say data from now on.
No,
so anyway, this data
don't
here
do that.
shows that, accidents. I mean that's related to drinking. I'm sure. It has to be motor vehicle accidents.
Yeah, that's my hot button topic right there. That I guarantee you includes drinking and driving, and if you do that, you're a horrible human being, and you're putting other people's lives at risk who are legitimately in no way, shape, or form guilty of anything.
I think there should be a totally different segment, Pat. Totally different.
I don't disagree, but since we have the opportunity, I'm just saying,
thanks for that.
Don't drink and drive.
You just made a whole bunch of people uncomfortable. But anyway,
if those people are drinking and driving, hopefully they're uncomfortable enough to change their ways.
I doubt it. Chronic lower respiratory disease. So I don't know what the fuck that means. What was that, like emphysema?
I'm going to look that up because something tells me that's related to COPD. So that's CLRD. Let's see how...
I would imagine it's... But again, that's related to
chronic
smoking.
lower respiratory disease. It's a term often used as a synonym for pneumonia, but can also be applied to other infection, including lung abscess and acute bronchitis. Symptoms include shortness of breath, weakness, fever, coughing, and fatigue. So I was way off.
So that's like the flu.
Well, yeah, it's the flu. Yes.
COVID.
Bronchitis, pneumonia.
COVID.
Wow, this is interesting. I'm looking at a map of, who's affected by that the most worldwide, and Africa has a huge problem with this rather than America's actually kind of on the light side comparatively. But I think a lot of that is when you have a weakened immune system, especially in the elderly. Those are the people who are dying of those things.
So check this out, right? We're in the middle of a global pandemic, right? So, and this is related to this. So that you could file under COVID. So again, these are from 2017. So 160,000 people die a year from that. So it's a whole broad range of ages and what it actually is, but I'm sure it's related to the flu and all that.
Yeah, it definitely lists the flu.
So in this huge pandemic that we have going on, 150,000 deaths so far from this.
This year?
This year, from COVID.
So now I'm interested. If you look at those deaths, what states are the highest? So in your top 5, you have Florida, New York, and New Jersey, who have historically very badly mishandled this entire COVID thing.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise that those are the biggest contributors.
Wow. And, actually, it's New York,
New Jersey, Massachusetts, who also has seemingly it's almost like a trick play up in Massachusetts because they pick the ball up, right, and they start running, and then they fumble the ball, and then a different, somebody else picks the ball up from the same team, the Mass team, and then they drop it too. Massachusetts is very back and forth. They're zigzagging all over the place with COVID.
So you want to know what's funny, right? So we live in Connecticut. This shows right here that Connecticut has had 4,400 deaths. That's 10% of the amount of people that got infected. Now listen,
that's 10% of the amount of people who tested positive.
Who tested positive. So, and I'm no conspiracy theorist here, right? That's not really my thing. But this number is way out of whack.
It's dramatically higher percentage-wise than anywhere else. I mean, look, Georgia has 153,000 positive tests and a 3,400 deaths related. So you're talking about 1.8.
Yeah, look at New York.
And Connecticut's at 10.
Look at New York.
New York is
416,000 confirmed cases.
Well, that's actually close to 10%. That's up like 7-8% right there.
Yeah, but it's still not 10%.
That's true. Yeah, I think maybe Connecticut's not doing a whole heck of a lot of testing.
Well, we also in the top, so we're in the top 8 for deaths, because that's what I went by. Sorry, top 10 for deaths. We also are the only ones in the top 10 that have had no confirmed cases today.
We what?
We're the only state in the top 10 that haven't had any new cases today.
Oh. That's like the second time in the last week, I think, that we didn't have any new cases. Unless, is that from today?
Yeah, this was updated 2 hours ago. Louisiana, though, 3,800.
Again, I want to know, if we're going to look at that, which we're far off topic at this point, but if we're looking at that, then you got to look at how many people were tested, because new cases don't appear without new tests. So that's a fish of another color, and it's a topic for another day.
So back to this. Next one's stroke. I'm not really sure what causes stroke. Aren't there usually like blood clots and shit like that?
Cerebrovascular disease. I'm going to say it's a blood clot in your brain.
Yeah,
it would be so much easier if we had any intelligence whatsoever.
Well, at least Pat can pronounce these words. I can't.
I read it.
They gave me the easy one. Stroke.
Let's see.
Alzheimer's.
Well, I think you're right about the blood clots, because the treatment would consist of blood thinners. So
yeah.
There's 3 types of strokes. 4 if you count what I do when I'm alone.
Or sometimes with me. But anyway, again, I mean, that's related to food.
What's that?
Blood clots.
I don't know that it's always related.
Not
to
always,
foods.
but it could be. And I mean, we're in the top 5 here with 146,000 deaths. That's pretty. It's pretty up there.
I mean, I'm looking at treatments, and there's nothing like, hey, if you eat better, you'll stop, hitting the stroke button.
So Alzheimer's disease is the next one. That's 6. I don't think they really know what the cause of Alzheimer's is.
Yeah, I'm sure we're getting there, but we're not quite there.
But the next one, 100% food related, in obese America, diabetes.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't say 100%, but I'm also not sure that is the individual either. Is diabetes hereditary?
It can be. It's related to your pancreas. Your pancreas doesn't produce insulin the right way, and that's why some people have to, like, you can be born like a type 2 diabetic, where you have to take insulin every day.
Yeah, so I read a story about the dude who created the synthetic insulin that we use now. He started with pigs, diabetic pigs, and he was taking the pancreatic fluid out of healthy pigs, putting it into sick pigs, and realized that the sick pigs were getting healthy. It was like, holy shit, that's pretty crazy. So then he did it with cows, thinking, cows are really close to humans, and it worked, and the sick cows started getting healthy, or staying healthy.
So you know what I heard on a different podcast today?
What's that?
And it was like out of left field, but it's related to the lung disease and all that.
Yeah.
They've successfully, like, the reason we can't do lung transplants is because the human lungs outside the body last for like 24 hours before they die. Right? That's why they can't do them.
Okay.
They've successfully attached them to a pig to keep them alive longer.
Interesting.
So in the very close future, perhaps, we're going to start seeing lung transplants.
That's good, because mine are pretty fucked up.
All the more reason to keep smoking.
I'd actually, before I get lung disease, be interested in a new pair, just so that my sex life could improve.
Well, you're still going to sweat like a pig.
I'm fine with that, because my lungs would be from the pig. Anyway, by the way, you are an absolute conversation grenade. I was getting to a very interesting point, and then you pulled the pin through your grenade.
I thought you were done with the insulin thing.
I wasn't, because...
How long were we going to make that story, dude? We don't have all the time in the world for this podcast.
The interesting point that I was going to, before you World War II flung the fucking grenade into the conversation, was that the original insulin that we put into humans...
Was from pigs?
No,
Cows.
cow pancreatic fluid.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, it is. But you fucked it up.
Well, look at that. Maybe all you guys learned something new today. More useless information from Pep.
Plenty of it.
So, I just got this one. Influenza and pneumonia at 55,000. So that's not related to the chronic lower respiratory disease. So that's a separate statistic.
I guess that does make sense because the flu or pneumonia would be an acute disease, where chronic obviously is not a short-term thing.
Yeah.
So, boy, we are doing great. I mean, the information is literally in front of us, and we can't get it right.
Well, at least we didn't jump through the list.
This proves that we did not, in any way, shape, or form, discuss what we were going to talk about on this podcast beforehand. We did zero work.
No, we came up with an idea and said, let's do it.
Jumped onto a website.
That's what we're all about.
Very little preparation. I drove here. That was the entire preparedness that we went through.
This next one, I'm not really sure what the hell it is.
Nephritis, nephrotic syndrome, and nephrosis. I really feel like we should phone a friend on this. Like we should have cued my brother. Like, hey, we're gonna call you. My brother's an RN. Shout out to the front line during COVID. Nephritis. Let's see.
Hit that old Google machine up.
And the Google says nephritis is inflammation of the kidneys and may involve the something or interstitial tissue surrounding all kinds of body parts that I can't read. So
that's kidney disease. Gotcha.
Yeah. I am going to guess that those things are caused by alcoholism. But I'm going to read because Tommy doesn't want me to get on the alcoholism topic. Inflammation that results from a urinary tract infection that reaches the renal pelvis of the kidney. Lupus nephritis is inflammation of the kidney caused by systemic lupus. Athletic nephritis is nephritis resulting from strenuous exercise. Oh, we should stop working out now. It seems like exercise could very well be the cause of death. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of the gym. I don't want to die.
And then the last one's probably the saddest one on the list. Suicide.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly, and this is going to sound a little fucked up, but it's a lot lower than I thought. I mean, to think about, there's less than, at least in 2017, 3 million deaths a year in the United States is pretty crazy. That's 1% of the population dies every year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not... Jeez, I'm worried about dying all the time. Looks like I'm going to be okay. As long as I don't get one of these things.
The one that really gets me about the intentional self-harm or suicide is, I'm curious, suicide rate in 2000. So we're going back 20 years. What was the suicide rate in 2000? Look at that. The first thing it says, the increase in the rate of death by suicide in the United States from 2000 to 2016, so we're going a year further back in our statistics now, we're going to 16 instead of 17, went from 10.4 to 13.5 per 100,000 people. So you're talking about, what's that? That's a fucking 30% increase in suicide, which is going to bring us to a topic that we don't have time for today, but it is the number one reason that I would want to do a podcast to begin with, which is mental health. Because that is a huge influx in suicide over the course of 16 years. I mean, if we do it again, you're talking about, if we have this 30% rise every 16 years, it's going to get out of control very, very quick. I would say that 50,000 people killing themselves in 2017 is out of control.
Well, let me ask you this, Pat, because, and not that I want to go on this, I mean, those might be solo episodes for you, because those aren't really my thing. I don't like talking about it. But what do you think leads to all the rise there?
I think it's mental health.
What is so much different about mental health now versus then? I'm not gonna lie to you. I think some of it, and you're probably not gonna like this.
You're gonna say video games?
No.
Oh, okay.
The pussification of America.
No, I absolutely agree.
I think people haven't been taught. Part of it is
a softer generation that hasn't been prepared or properly broken in or toughened up, who then hit the real world I mean, think about it. The kids that walk across the stage, not this year because there is no stage because of the pandemic, but kids who walked across the stage in 2019 were told, when you walk across the stage, you throw your hat in the air and you're an adult. And it's not true. When kids in the 70s and the 80s threw those hats across, they were adults. They were ready to do it.
Well,
they were ready to be on their own.
Well, in a simple, like my personal story with this would be my son. My son lived with his mother for the first 11 years of his life, and he came to live with me right around the time of the pandemic started. And he's soft. He's soft. He is softer than a foam pillow. Yeah, and I mean I love him to death, and I try to toughen him up. And I'm at a certain point where I'm worried that I'm too hard on him, but he has to understand, like, the real world is not rainbows and unicorns. People are mean.
They're also not considerate. We also have access to so many resources that we didn't have access to before that makes it very easy to not be a good person and just continue moving forward.
Yes.
I mean, think about how many relationships are being destroyed by, Tinder or OkCupid or whatever because, some people are only as honest as their options compel them to be. So if I have a girlfriend and it's routine or it's boring or she pisses me off or I'm drinking and I'm not thinking clearly, it's very easy to jump onto something, swipe right, and go smash, and now you have destroyed the trust in a relationship. So this now tie that back in. There are people killing themselves over that, guaranteed.
Yeah, but that comes down to being soft.
But I also think there's issues with too much time inside, not enough time outside. You can put it on the electronics, you can put it on video games or television. Man, I really like everything about the way we live. I think contributes a little bit to that. Even the fact it's just an ugly America right now. You have, if you're a Donald Trump fan, then you're all for, just racism and everybody should be, killing everybody and you should be a horrible person. And if you're a Biden fan, then you support rapists and it's the most extremes that we've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter which side you're on. The pendulum swings so far from center now.
Well, I think that will help us with our next segment after we're done with this about the thing that I talked about with you upstairs real quick. But we'll get into that later.
Yes. But those things, it's just such a fucking ugly place to be right now.
I'm happy to be an American. I mean, we're blessed. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
I say blessed. I'm not a religious person at all, but we're very lucky to live in such a great country where we can do stuff like podcasts and
have an opinion.
And have an opinion, but at the same time, you have to work for it. It can't be just given to you. So that was the top 10. So I did a little Google research and found this website that is, from what I can tell, not for guns. It's to prevent gun violence.
So the website is Giffords Law Center. The subtitle to that is To Prevent Gun Violence.
Yeah, so right here it says 36,000 Americans killed each year by guns.
So let's go back to that list. That's 36,000.
Oh, it doesn't even hit the top 10. 47,000 was in suicide.
It's 11,000 deaths per year, lower than the lowest thing on that list.
Now, mind you, in that 36,000, 100% is including this suicide.
Yeah.
Some of those, and in this accidents.
Absolutely. So we have so that makes the data a little bit askew, right? Because now we're double counting things. It's basically like the beginning of tracking COVID, where everything looks different than it actually is. But so here's my point with this. This is why I was thinking about this on the way home. This is why you wanted to talk about this. It's not that gun control isn't an issue. It's not that guns aren't dangerous. It's not that people should stop killing people or shouldn't stop killing people. It's that there are bigger fish to fry, but for some reason, this is being shoved down everybody's throats, this gun control issue. Meanwhile, they're not being told to put their fucking forks down.
Yeah.
It baffles me.
It's not even about putting your fork down. It's about, some people try to eat healthy. They really do. But the way that we produce food now, I don't eat I don't eat healthy. I'm no saint here. I mean, I just had chicken wings and French fries for dinner. But unless you're eating something organic, it's shot full of a bunch of hormones and stuff that
Yeah, like you don't stand a chance with food.
You don't.
At least with guns, you have the option to not be an owner.
Yeah.
With food, some people can't afford to eat.
Well, especially when
as well as you need to.
When fucking lettuce costs $6 and a McDouble costs $1.99.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she said she got a salad that was $10, and it was lettuce, cherry tomatoes, and cucumber with dressing, and it was a $10 salad. But I think about the trap like that the restaurant has, right? Like they know you want to eat healthy. Not everybody, but there are some people who want to eat healthy.
And they will pay the $10 to eat healthy.
Yeah, because there's not a ton of good options. So make those good options very, very expensive. They gotta pick one because they're not gonna eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah. So back onto this though. So you know how many of those gun deaths, are by suicide?
How about
22,000.
22,000 out of 36,000.
Out of 36,000.
So 60%
of them
of the gunshot deaths in America are self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Yep. So if you take that out, now we're down to 14,000. Homicides is at 12, so that's the other majority of it.
Homicides take up the next 36%. 35? I can't see that.
35.
Oof.
So, I mean, that's
a high
number.
96% right there. 96% of gun deaths are suicide and homicide.
Yeah.
Though, for the sake of our argument, they really need to be separated. Suicide should not be counted in gun deaths, in my opinion, because you could just as easily jump off of something or hang yourself or whatever.
Yeah, if you're gonna kill yourself, you don't need a gun to kill yourself.
And I don't think that if you're in a position to kill yourself, I don't think you're like, let me think of the best way to kill myself. You're not in a level state of mind. You're not in a good place. Yeah. So if there's not a gun to kill yourself with, there is an alternative to a gun to kill yourself with.
Well, this has me kind of interested in finding out how many people kill themselves by slitting their wrists.
I'm sure you could look it up.
Because we're not trying to ban fucking razor blades or pocket knives.
That would be a much tougher battle.
Well, but I'm just saying. So.
But it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, what other instruments of death are there? I mean,
hanging. We're not trying to ban rope, and I mean, like, I get it. You know what I mean? People. I own guns. So, and I'm not all gung ho. I'm not into guns like that. I've shot pistols and that's about it. But at the same time, there's places in this country where guns are banned, i.e. Chicago, and it has the highest homicide rate by guns in the United States.
True story.
Actually, what I want to look up,
New Hampshire has the loosest gun laws in the country and has, I believe, the lowest gun crime statistics. Tom is now looking up how many people, in just Chicago were killed with guns. That's a good, out of the 36,000 total. Tom he's learning to type. Today's his first day. It's going well.
So this is from the New York Times. I guess we'd have to find, because those are,
you really need like a statistic from. There you go. Nope, go down. Chicago matching 2016 homicide pace. What was the
2017 though? Those statistics are from 2017.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get much more recent. So go with that one. So this one says Chicago has fewer murders in 2017.
So that's near 16% this one.
Right.
650 murders.
You're gonna have to cut some of this as we do this research.
They had 2,700, almost 2,800 shooting instances and 3,400 shooting victims, which was a decrease from 3,500 shooting instances. I mean, so there you go. So there were 650 murders. So I mean, that's not crazy, but
It's lower than I would have expected.
yes, but it's not. This is also CNN reporting this one.
What?
It's also CNN reporting it, so who the fuck knows?
Well, I thought this was the New York Times.
No, CNN.
How did we switch news?
Because the last one I was going to look at was.
Not to mention, I think it's good to pull from different sources.
Yeah, sure. But still, I mean, you're talking about, and it doesn't say how many were gun related in the 650 murders, but say it's half, 325, and it's a city that allows 0 guns.
Yeah,
So
they're bad.
maybe the problem isn't legal gun ownership; it's criminals will be criminals. And why should we? People that obey the laws obey the laws. People that break the laws break the laws.
Yeah,
It's
to
just
that
simple.
point, people die of heroin overdoses on a pretty frequent basis, and heroin's not legal anywhere in the country.
Yeah,
No one is allowed to have
that's all.
anything.
Topic too.
Yeah, but my point is, it's the government. I'm not sure where we're headed with the gun control thing. I don't know if we'll get looser or tighter. I do think that the divisiveness could be good for states and getting us back to being the United States.
Well,
Where
and that's kind of where it is not, because like my pistol permit in Connecticut isn't legal in every state. I have to go get a different permit for that. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with certain restrictions. When my parents bought guns in Virginia, they literally walked in, they did the background check for my mother. Now they're buying 2 guns. They bought them under the same name because in Virginia, at the time, you do now, but at the time, you did not have to register your gun to you.
now, you say at the time, we're talking about less than 5 years ago.
We're talking 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So, and they've since changed that law to where now if you buy a gun, you're only allowed to buy 1 gun or 3 guns per month or something like that in Virginia, and I believe you have to have them registered now to you. I don't know what that means about all the guns that were sold before that. You have to register them. I don't know. I don't live there. But what I'm saying is, I walked in with them one day. They bought guns, and we went and shot them later that day. And you don't have to have a permit. They have in Virginia, you have to have a concealed carry permit. If
Right,
not,
so-
you have to open carry.
so I am from Virginia. I am an advocate of open carry. If you are going to allow people to carry guns, again, I'm not taking a stance on this. I don't want to, like my opinion to come through. But if you're allowed to carry a gun, you should be able to carry the gun very openly.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a shooter, right, and I go into a building and there's like 60 people with guns out,
I'm not gonna start
I don't
shooting.
want to shoot that store up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like it's like red flags everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the counterpoint to that is, if I'm a gun owner and I have the opportunity to conceal a weapon and there's a shooter, that shooter's not going to aim his gun at me because he sees my gun. He doesn't know I have a gun. So that gives me kind of a one-up on him. So I see both sides of the coin. I, at 10 years old, got my first gun. It was a shotgun, a single barrel breaking shotgun to go hunting with. And I don't think that I was too young. I don't think that ever was there a time that I was unsafe. My dad was a pretty hardcore safety nut. And to this day, on the farm, we shoot. We've never had an accident. I'm not sure that we've ever come close to having an accident. I have brought tons of people down to Virginia with me, including someone as young as 7 years old. And he shot a .22, and we did not have any incidents. He kept the gun downrange the entire time. It was for fun. My dad uses them for sport. He hunts with them. I don't like hunting. It's extremely boring. I generally will just shoot the gun off in the air so that we have to go home because no animals are going to come out. And I get yelled at by my dad at 30 years old about what an asshole I am.
But I think the biggest thing that we can do with guns is teach safety, and then maybe some of the accidents go down. But look at Dick Cheney. I mean, that was an accident when he shot
his birth.
When he shot his friend there in the face.
Is he dead?
Shot.
You should cut that.
No.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
I think he's dead.
No? I could have sworn he died. Dick Cheney, dead or alive?
I'll tell you who's dead. Regis Philbin. He
Crazy.
Did you ever see that clip from the first guy who won
Yeah.
$1 million on
Dick Cheney, still alive.
Told you. Did you ever see the clip from the guy who won the first Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No.
He was from Connecticut.
Yeah.
And he's on the $1 million question. He didn't use any of his lifelines. And he gets the question and goes, I'd like to use my lifeline and call my dad.
Oh, yeah, he calls his dad to tell him that he just won $1 million.
Before
Yeah.
he answers the question.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Anyway. Yeah, so we're pretty big advocates that gun control isn't the problem in the United States.
Yeah, that's the point. It's not whether I think that everybody should have a gun or nobody should have a gun. It's that it doesn't fucking matter comparatively speaking. The bigger problem is that you're being poisoned, you're being manipulated, and when I say poisoned, I mean physically. The things you eat, the things you take into your body from smoking, the tobacco that you put in your lip, all of those things are absolute garbage, and that's a much bigger problem. So the people who write those laws, those bills for, regulating food and regulating even medicines, are people who work for big medical corporations, big pharma. They're people who work in the food industry.
It's all
and
scam.
yeah, they're writing bills that allow them to operate the way that they need to operate to turn a profit, and that's not how it should be. But again,
that's business, baby.
that's business. So that's where the focus needs to be. The focus needs to be on science, keeping us healthy. The focus needs to be on, could we? Is it fathomable to come up with a healthier cigarette or a healthy cigarette even? Could you put fucking peppermint leaves instead of menthol cigarettes? Could you just smoke peppermint leaves? I don't know the answer to that. Take the nicotine out.
Well, no, the nicotine is not the problem. That that's a common misconception. The nicotine is not what's killing you. It's the fucking tobacco and the tar and the tobacco and handling it into your lungs.
I get that, but the nicotine is why you continue to smoke all of those things. The nicotine is what keeps you going back to the well.
Oh, I hear you. But at the same time, then it just becomes a black market thing. It's like heroin at that point. You know what I mean? People that smoke need the nicotine.
Well, and we've seen that type of reform tried with prohibition, which failed miserably because you're right, it turns into a black market, and then the dirty cops are making money and the criminals are making money, and they almost thrive in those situations.
NASCAR is born, and here we are.
And then NASCAR is born.
Love it.
Because there were so many drunk people that wanted to see left-hand turns get taken for an entire fucking day.
I love it.
So the other thing, and this had me all fired up in the car on my way home. This is how we got to gun control. Is that so? This is a glaring problem in America, right? Everybody's mad at everybody. Everybody should have a gun. Nobody should have a gun. Guns kill people. People kill people. Whatever. So we have this global pandemic, right? And all of these places get shut down, from water parks to bowling alleys. All of these places get shut down. But in Connecticut, and I don't know how it is anywhere else, but in Connecticut, package stores didn't get shut down. So the argument there is, well, if you're an alcoholic, you need alcohol. You'll die if you don't drink, right? So here's my counterpoint, and this occurred to me the other day, and we're like 6 months into this pandemic, and it just fucking occurred to me. Grocery stores sell alcohol, and gas stations sell cigarettes. There is not a reason in the world that package stores should have remained open. Liquor stores, if you're not in Connecticut, package stores, if you're in Connecticut.
That's the thing, right?
So listen,
Package store. So yes,
package stores all stayed open,
yes,
which is bullshit.
Well, I'm not going to debate you on alcohol, right? because we know how you feel about that. That's a different podcast. But
Ricky Bobby's mom talked to me, and she told me that alcohol is the devil. I had that conversation with her.
that's cool. The reason a liquor store stayed open is because, yes, grocery stores do sell alcohol, yes. You know what they don't sell?
What's that?
Liquor.
It doesn't matter. If you're an alcoholic, you don't need liquor to stay alive. You need alcohol to stay alive.
Yeah, listen,
If that's the argument,
I don't think that's
then-
the actual argument.
that's the argument. That's the only thing that I've heard. Nobody has come out and said, "Well, there's a lot of revenue that would be lost if we close package stores."
Well, but that's really what it comes down to.
That's my point.
Because what
So
they-
let's fight gun control because there's not as much revenue in gun control. Let's leave alcohol. Let's leave tobacco. Let's leave food. Let's leave big pharma. Let's leave all of these things away. Let's leave mental illness completely out of this. And let's talk about something that isn't going to have a negative impact on much. So it hurts the gun industry if you can't have a gun. But that's not a lot of
Yeah,
jobs,
that's not gonna help
comparatively
your
speaking.
local. That's not going to hurt your local or federal government.
Right.
with the
So
taxes.
let's make gun control a very, very big issue. Either way, for guns, against guns, if you're fighting that issue, it's because you're not paying attention to other issues. And if you're not paying attention to other issues, it's because either you're too dumb or you're part of the problem. I don't see a third option.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Memories with a silver lining.
So when I was a kid, we were getting in trouble. We sat down at the kitchen table getting in trouble for having bad grades on our report cards. And my parents were yelling at us saying, what do you want to be, managers for Rite Aid and CVS your whole lives like us, blah, 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 blah. And my brother kind of snickered and laughed. And my dad didn't like that too much, so he went to go grab him. My brother took off from the chair, and instead of grabbing him, he pushed his head through the wall. Put a big hole in it. So, sent us to our rooms. About 25 minutes later, he calls us back up. And he goes, see how fast I can fix that hole? Don't get smart with me again. And we learned that day that my dad could patch sheetrock really fast. Every kid that's being raised today is a pussy.
Right, okay, so then associated with that, don't you want statistics?
I don't need statistics. It's facts.
You don't want to know what percentage of kids has ADD or ADHD, or what percentage of kids is being diagnosed with anxiety? Because those statistics are important because they're never going to own guns. Those statistics are important because they're never going to be allowed in the military. They're never going to be allowed to be cops. They're never going to be EMTs.
Oh, they'll be allowed to be in the military.
Not if the military says nobody with anxiety can be in.
Is that a real thing?
I mean, at one point, people who liked people with the same body parts couldn't be in. So yes, I would
So
assume
that makes sense.
They say if you have anxiety, you can't own a gun. That's not true. They say if you have a weed card, you can't own a gun.
That is true.
How about this? For that point, weed disqualifies you from owning a gun, but weed was also used to strip Michael Phelps of his gold medals in the Olympics because it was considered a performance-enhancing drug. So, how can it be both?
Well, I think you can consider coke a performance-enhancing drug.
I don't think you can.
I think you can.
I don't think that there's... Name the coke addict who was a gold medalist because of the coke.
I mean, football players get in trouble for coke all the time.
I mean, so do wrestlers. Wrestlers like the 80s and 90s was literally just everybody did coke.
And they were all hopped up on performance-enhancing drugs.
And rock stars.
Yeah.
I don't think coke could be considered a performance-enhancing drug.
You mean to tell me that Ozzy Osbourne wouldn't be as good as he was? Have you seen him not on drugs doing a show?
He looks great.
Nowhere near as good.
I would rather
as him.
watch. What was the name of that show? Life with the Osbournes. What was that called?
Life of the Osbournes.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Fuck if
Or-
it was.
Or the Osbournes or some shit.
I'm looking it up. Hitting the Google.
Better quote where you got that information.
Ozzy Osbourne show. The Osbournes, motherfucker. That was a tough one. What's up with his girlfriend? Who's a smoke show?
So you mean to tell me you'd rather watch the Osbournes instead of watching Ozzy perform?
I would rather watch the Osbournes than any other aspect of Ozzy Osbourne's professional career ever.
Why?
Because I don't think. What was that band?
Black Sabbath?
Black Sabbath was good. Crazy Train was good. It was not a good band. In fact,
What?
there are two good things that came out of the 80s.
You don't-
AC/DC and me. That's it.
You don't think Black Sabbath was a good? I don't really listen to that type of music, and I think they were a good band.
No. No, there's no good 80s music. None. You ever watch,
Madonna?
Madonna is straight fucking garbage, and you can throw Michael Jackson on that list as well. The man could dance.
You?
Billie Jean was catchy.
How do you not like Michael Jackson's music?
It's awful. It's awful garbage music.
You're a fucking idiot.
Listen, that's like saying NSYNC was awesome, dude. It's all just fucking pop. It's formulaic. It's garbage. His dance moves are nasty. I like the Jackson 5.
How do you not like Michael Jackson's music?
Again, I like the Jackson 5. Does that count for anything?
You didn't like Thriller?
Thriller was a great video. I sleep in what I call the Thriller position, right? So, oh god, that's where, it's like it's the Thriller, and then you rotate to the other side, right, with both hands under the pillow and one knee up. I call that the Thriller. That's how I sleep.
I cannot believe that you're trying to say that Michael Jackson's music wasn't good.
I don't like Michael Jackson's music. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was very popular. It made a bunch of money.
I figured you guys come from St. Paul.
Because I'm half and half.
No,
Because of my nose.
he's not half that. He was full blown.
All I know is that when Michael Jackson tosses a salad, he uses Neverland Ranch, if you catch what I'm throwing. To be fair, that was stolen. That is an Eminem thing.
That's fucked up. Jesus.
Are you done with these, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am now.
Yeah. Don't do that. Coffee? I'm thinking about putting those into a water in the morning and just letting it soak. I'll just drink it up.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Not done with that. No, remember when you were a kid and there was nothing on television, but you ended up on a stupid fucking infomercial of all the songs, and like it would scroll through the list of songs on this collection
talking
of
about-
CDs. It had like 10 CDs and it was every hit from the 80s.
I'm talking about now that's what we call music? Or
No, this was before Now was a thing. Now, it's just like Now, but it was very specific to a genre, so it'd be like 60s, 70s. But the 80s one, right? You knew every single song on that list. Like, I'd like, oh, some sugar on me. And then it would go to the next song. But as I grew up, I realized all those songs, like the choruses were kick-ass, and the songs themselves, those rock ballads, were straight fucking garbage.
Guns N' Roses?
Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like the chorus is the only part of that song that I know.
Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi was okay. I got no beef with Bon Jovi.
Totally Eclipse of the Heart? Banger.
Again, only the chorus.
Lionel Richie?
I couldn't name it a Lionel Richie song.
All Night Long?
Sing it.
All night long. All night.
Oh boy. Not familiar. What are you looking at over there? Oh, I'm sorry. Now we're gonna listen to it. Is there a really long intro?
No, I think it's because I gotta change something.
It's not a fucking Disney movie.
That's not the song I was thinking of.
Jesus.
Love Shack?
Love Shack was mediocre. Overrated. Big time.
We got it.
Oh yeah, look up all those songs and tell me the good ones.
Free Fallin' by Tom Petty?
Great song.
Yeah, Tom Petty? I mean, come on.
I got no beef with Tom Petty.
He was from the 80s.
The Traveling Wilburys were great.
David Bowie? Under Pressure.
Vanilla Ice did it better.
Oh, different song.
Under Pressure is what became Ice Ice Baby.
Yeah. Hold on, we're gonna get some more. Here I Go Again by Whitesnake.
That's one of those songs, right? So if you play the song, you know the chorus, but the rest of the song is trash.
Welcome to the Jungle by fucking Guns N' Roses.
Good song.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses was awesome.
Overrated band. Good song.
They're fucking ridiculous. You Spin Me Right Round, Baby.
Done better by, I believe, Adam Sandler in a movie 20 years later.
Beat It by Michael Jackson. Psh,
Not good.
what?
Done better by Weird Al. Eat It.
Yeah, I gotcha. But you understand without Beat It, you don't get that Eat It song.
I'm sure Weird Al could have picked a different song to make about food. He did many of them.
Another one by Queen?
Queen was amazing. I believe they started before the 80s. And another one bites the dust was Junkyard Dog's entrance music. And I loved the Junkyard Dog.
That was also Queen.
I know. I'm
1980.
I'm a fan.
I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney
Queen
Houston.
is one of those. First off, Whitney Houston's the best singer in the history of show business. Second,
She did.
She did. Queen is like, when I look through Queen's songs, I always go, holy shit, I didn't know Queen did that. Like, they have a million songs that I didn't know was Queen. Like, We Are
Sexual
the
Healing by
Champions.
Marvin Gaye. You don't like Marvin Gaye?
No. Unpopular opinion. 80s music was awful. And if you go shopping, all the girls at the supermarket say that 80s, every one of them loves 80s music. They're all super sarcastic, and they want to see my dog. Joke's on them. There's not really a dog in my basement.
Jeez.
What are you looking for?
I was looking to see when most of Queen's music came out.
When is it? The 70s?
89, 86, 86, 84, 82, 80. Yeah, their first album came out in...
God, they had a lot of albums.
Yeah. Holy shit.
To be fair, there's a bunch of remastered stuff there.
So their first album came out in 73.
What was on it? Let's see if they were good. I don't know any of those songs.
These are all 2011.
For the movie, I'm guessing.
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
I never seen it.
All right, so that intro song in the background, right, was a song by a guy named Scars Real Hip Hop, produced by Kenny Prospect. Kenny Prospect was also on the song. So Scars Real Hip Hop has a song coming out, a collab album coming out with Vendetta of PCP. These guys are absolute fire. They are local to Connecticut. I can't say enough good things about Scars. This dude, that Recharge album 2019, which is where that song comes from. The song is called The Solution. It is absolute fire. He is super passionate. He is a great lyricist. We're going to play the whole song for you, and hopefully we can find really quality artists to feature on every one of these podcasts. So as far as I'm concerned, he gets top billing. He gets the first episode because he's absolutely worth it. I've seen this guy live. I've seen Kenny Prospect live with him. They were fantastic. Check this song out, and if you like it, he's on Spotify. Again, The Solution off of Recharge. By the way, Scars Real Hip Hop has a new album coming out with Vendetta. It's a collab project. It's going to be amazing.
As the smoke clears, I see a path over the horizon. Different types of people wearing all different disguises. Till we catch them slipping, it might bring all like surprises. Could miss it if you blink, but we got vision through our eyelids. Never known to sell drugs or keep a hammer cocked back. But all I got is fire, here's an album, you should cop that. Scars, I got the keys and I'ma put them where the lock's at. Tell them in my place where all the pun big and pox at. But they won't sign them, lyrics you can find them. Yeah, the kick is spit, but is he spitting what's inside him? I ain't trying to be another Uzi or designer. I ain't trying to spit about no Dolce and Gabbana. This one's for my father, this one's for my mama. This one's for my people rolling with me if there's problems. And if we come together, we can solve them. Rhymes hit like the kick from revolvers. This one's for my blood that I put in every day. I'm working hard, son. Sweat just from doing what it takes to get the job done. Tears cause it feels every day another problem. Shit I gotta go through to solve them. This one's for my blood that I put in every day. I'm working hard, son. Sweat just from doing what it takes to get the job done. Tears cause it feels every day another problem. Shit I gotta go through to solve them. If you asked me 10 years ago where I think I'd be at, I probably would've told you in the lab bringing the beat back. Still burning tangerine dream out the weed pack. Damn, it feels so good to be back. This goes out to those that doubted me. This shit is a part of me. Applying pressure to the competition, make it hard to breathe. If you try to target me, y'all gon' need an armory. Cause I'm a fucking beast, I know you can see the mark of me. Pardon me, did I hurt your feelings? I don't fucking care. I'm the monster that you made, why the fuck you running scared? Y'all told me it was love, but when I looked it wasn't nothing there. Hit 'em with these bars, I've been cuffing, have 'em up in here. We up in here, till we shut it down, and we puffin' loud. That ain't nothing new, everything we do's above the clouds. Every beat I produce, we gon' rap a noose around, and we gon' choke that motherfucker out no matter who's around. Blood that I put in every day, I'm working hard, son. Sweat just from doing what it takes to get the job done. Tears cause it feels every day another problem. Shit I gotta go through to solve them. This one's for my blood that I put in every day. I'm working hard, son. Sweat just from doing what it takes to get the job done. Tears cause it feels every day another problem. Shit I gotta go through to solve them. This one's for my...
All right, so we just want to thank you guys for listening to the whole podcast, and we're planning for every Monday and Thursday to put out a new one. Once again, thank you, and if you liked it, tell somebody. If you don't, shut your mouth.